Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. I'm going to try valiantly to at least get 30 views on this one, and I hope you guys can try to view this video and get this message out. And what I want to talk about is basically life and the fact that it is very unpredictable. What's funny is you can have the person that was so infatuated with you one moment basically forget about you the next, and what happens is sometimes the antithesis of this can take place. Sometimes somebody that may have seemed very apathetic about you one moment and really had you down on the bottom of their list in terms of communication, what have you, can come up and surprise you and all of a sudden be very enamored with you. And you can't really put a finger on why maybe it happened or why some things didn't happen, but it's just the fact that we really don't know what's going to happen with us a lot of times one moment to the next. Your life can be very monotonous one moment. You could be consistently doing the same thing day in and day out and wondering if there's ever going to be any deviation or change in it. And then inexplicably something comes along that just maybe disrupts this, sometimes for better or for worse. And really, we just don't know what's going to happen one moment to the next. I mean, I could put up a video one day and it may hardly get any views. Then the next day, all of a sudden, just by so the right person seeing it, all of a sudden it escalates and really gets a lot more views than I had really originally anticipated. But I think what we have to remember is that the thing that about life is that we go through a lot of trials and tribulations. There's a lot of ups and downs. We deal with the vicissitudes of life, and sometimes it's pretty and sometimes it isn't. And really, we go day for day, and sometimes we could have days that have a lot of change in them, and then other times we might not have hardly any diversity. And we really just have to look at it where we don't, life in general is very uncertain. Our own lives are uncertain. We're not guaranteed tomorrow. It's best to try to do the best we can on a day-to-day basis, because you don't know when that time is up. You don't know when that 11th hour is actually going to hit. You could be as healthy as a horse and you can go and have a good checkup. All your vitals are good and everything, and something inexplicably could happen to you. People have died of heart attacks well before 40 years old, and things do happen that are very unanticipated. And really, it's about making the best of the time we have right now, because of the unpredictability that is involved in life. And really, if you have something you want to say to somebody, I think it's best to do it sooner than later. If you love someone, tell them you love them now. Don't be apprehensive. Don't wait on it. Don't procrastinate, because you don't know, because of life's unpredictability, I should say, from one moment to the next. My grandfather, God rest his soul, he got a very good checkup in 1993, and shortly after the checkup, I think it was within a week, he had collapsed of a heart attack. So that's what I mean as an example as far as unpredictability in life goes. There could be sometimes you could just run into the right person at the right time, or you might be in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong person. I mean, there have been times when people have just gotten killed and shot just because they were in the wrong place at the wrong time, just because they were near somebody that was psychotic and went on some random killing spree, for example. I was in the right place at the right time. At one time I was walking, I found a $100 bill somewhere, and it was during the time I was in my homeless plight and predicament. and I think the man upstairs was certainly watching over me. I do believe in a supreme being, a higher power. Everybody has a different name for that person. Some people view that person as the creator, and I understand that, but I just look at it like, really, I think in life we think we take certain things for granted. We think just because, okay, something's going one way for 100 consecutive days, then that means the 101st time it's gonna work out. It's kind of like, I don't know, I'm not very knowledgeable about cars or vehicles now, but I remember something around the early 90s. They were talking about an easy start carburetor for a vehicle, and I'm thinking, well, gee, maybe that starts 100 consecutive times, but that doesn't mean it's always going to start on the 101st time. We take so many things for granted. Just because I'm able to upload a video consistently day in and day out, that doesn't mean that the internet's going to be working every single day. I may have a day where I have some problem due to maybe attributed to bad weather, adverse weather conditions. So it's funny how things are. You can't even take relationships for granted with others and people. There's been times when I'll be talking with people and the conversation seems to be going real fluid and real consistent. Then inexplicably the person just kind of dissipates into thin air, and I don't quite understand what's happened. A lot of people are blaming this astrologically. Many of you may know I have my astrology channel, and they'll say, well, Mercury's retrograde. I kind of wonder about that, if some people are being subconsciously influenced by the fact it is retrograde and use that as a reason, maybe subconsciously at least, to not communicate. And I mean, I'm just throwing that out there, and the point being, people can be impacted by things like that, and it can cause unpredictability in communications. And reality is, people, that I think the only thing about life, when it comes right down to it, is that the only predictability about it is that it's unpredictable. This is Edwin Learnard, and until next time, people, stay well.